Don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel. Hi, everyone. Going to be chatting about Scream 2 this evening with Emma and Josh and our special guest, Kasha. Hi, Josh. I'll just add you in. Hi, Kasha. I'll add you in a second. Invites. Hopefully that will have gone through. Fingers crossed. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Looking
You all right?
good.
Oh, I said I would do it. I said I
You
would
did.
next time.
You look
Dress
like
up.
Ghostface had a party with you.
He did, yeah. I survived though. It's surprising, I know. Right,
Hi,
let's
Kasha.
invite Emma.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm prepared, except for the quiz.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, ready.
Oh, I just went live a little. Hi, Emma.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, Mr. Slice is out tonight.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, hi, Marissa. I just went live a little bit earlier just because I'm conscious at 8 o'clock there is a minute silence going on in the UK for the Queen. So I thought I'd try and get everything in as much as I can in the chat so we can finish before 8 o'clock. But thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We're going to be talking about Scream 2. And with us this evening, taking their love of sequels way too far, it's Emma. Whoop, 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 whoop. And Mr. Slicey. And gorier, sexier, and funnier, it's Josh. Woohoo!
I really need that.
And the rules of a sequel are: number one, the body count is always bigger. Number two, the death scenes are much more elaborate. And that's why we've invited our special guest, Kasha, to save us from the sequel deaths.
I'll try.
And I'm Shelley, and I will never get over the fact they killed Randy off in this movie. Spoiler alert, Randy dies, and it was a travesty. And I'm never over it. Never over it.
It's been over 20 years, Shelley.
I'm still not over it. How could they do that?
Hashtag justice for Randy needs to go viral tomorrow.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I'm still not over it. Every time I see it happen in Scream 2, I'm like, no, it's going to change. It's not going to happen. But thanks to everyone for joining. If you've got any comments, pop them up and we'll try and read them out. And spoilers alert for Scream 2, but we've all seen Scream 2. We must have, got to have. But basically, Scream 2 is set 2 years after the first series of murder, as Sydney adapts to college life and someone is donning that Ghostface costume and begins another string of killings. Apparently earned 1/3 of its total gross of 101.3 million in its opening weekend, which is like mind-blowing, really. And both this and the original Scream were among the highest grossing films of 97. And I think the original Scream was released late 96, but it mainly got its most views at early 97. And Kevin Williamson had the idea for the sequel while writing the script for Scream 1, discovering that there was more to the story. And then while Scream was being filmed, it was greenlit for the second one to come out. And there was lots of plot twists, which was all a matter of top secrecy throughout the production. But there were many script leaks on the internet, so I think they had to change it a number of times.
I think they sent different endings out so that nobody would really know which one was the right one.
Yeah. Can you imagine doing all those rewrites though?
Oh my
it must
God,
have been like crazy.
That's lots of fun.
No, and I'm not sure whether this is actually 100% true, but apparently, oh, excuse me if I've got a little tickle. apparently it was originally scheduled to open alongside Tomorrow Never Dies and Titanic, but both of those
Ooh.
films moved their dates so they didn't get pitted against Scream, which is
Oh.
mind-blowing
Power of
really when you
Scream.
think of
Yeah.
Titanic. Yeah, they must have
Yeah, I
thought,
thought you were going to say the other way round.
yeah,
Yeah.
apparently they moved their dates so they didn't go up against Scream, but my husband
Ooh.
thinks it's because they thought Titanic was going to flop.
It
So
was
they,
gonna sink. It was
yeah,
gonna
it's gonna
sink.
sink. Oh, I missed
That
that
Scream 2
joke there,
iceberg
didn't
was
I?
gonna come along and just thank God they moved.
I know, definitely. So what are your first memories of watching Scream? I presume we've all seen it before, so it's not a first watch for any of us. What are your first memories, Josh?
This was probably the very start of a long tradition for me watching sequels before I'd watched the original. And
Really?
I think it came out on video when I was 15, so I couldn't go to the video shop to rent it myself because I was too young. It was an 18 certificate over here. And so
Yeah.
I would send my mum out to rent videos for me, and she came back with Scream 2. And I was too excited to just have a Scream film to watch, so I didn't really mind that it was the sequel. So yeah, I remember really vividly watching it for the first time. Obviously, it spoils who the killer is, who the killers are from the first film, pretty much immediately.
Yeah.
But Tori Spelling spoils it as well when she's promoting Stab. She's like, it's about this girl who finds out her
Yes,
boyfriend's a
it
sick
does.
serial killer. Tori, you spoiled the film for everyone. Um, so yeah, 15, loved it. I've watched it many, many, many times since. And I
Yeah.
did go and then get my mum to rent the first Scream. And I remember trying not to listen to names because I wanted to be surprised. And then immediately it was like, Billy at the window. I was like, oh, okay, well, spoiled
No.
myself.
Oh, I love that. Nerissa's put same Josh,
Ah,
so she must have watched
the days of
Scream 2
VHS.
first. How about you, Emma? What's your first memories of watching
Do you know,
Scream?
I've seen number two. I've seen it before, and I knew what going into it, but I can't remember at all
Hmm.
when I saw it. I remember vividly seeing number one first. I didn't see number two
Well
first,
done,
which is
well
so
done.
weird, so random. But yeah, I don't remember. I don't think I didn't see it in the cinema, so I think I must have seen it. I must have rented it also.
Hmm.
Like Josh, I would have been a bit older than you, Josh, only by a couple of years, I think. But I probably would have rented it myself, possibly. I don't know. Yeah.
Hmm.
And watched it at home. Didn't go to the cinema to see it, but yeah, I remember the first one vividly, but not the second at all, which is weird. On the
Yeah.
rewatch, I actually couldn't remember who was the
Oh,
killer
wow.
Oh
either.
wow, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, so I had no idea. I thought it was Randy.
Oh,
Yeah.
myself.
Oh, I love that. So it was like a whole new experience, like rewatching it.
Yeah, I'd completely forgotten, and I thought it was Cotton and Randy.
Oh
It would have been way darker if it was Randy.
Oh,
Yeah.
can you
Yeah.
imagine?
Yeah.
At least he would have lived there. Well, maybe not. Well, maybe he might have lived.
The killers never live.
No, no. How about you, Kasha? Do you remember the first time you watched Scream 2?
I always consider myself lucky because I went to the cinema to watch the first Scream.
Whoa.
I think
Wow.
I was like
Oh.
13, 14, but in my little hometown, nobody really cared.
Brilliant.
So I was already into horror. So I was like, oh, it's Scream is running. Let's go watch it, And yeah, I was, really surprised about Scream because back in the day, that movie changed a little bit the horror genre. So
Mm,
after that one,
Yeah.
came a whole bunch of movies that wanted to be Scream. Even, I Know What You Did Last Summer is kind of wanting to be Scream.
yeah, Urban
Yeah.
Legends,
Yeah, all of
things like
those
that.
came after that.
Mm,
So I remember being like really in love with the movie, and then I did watch number two as well, of course, in the cinema. But I think like the first one was always like my favorite
Yeah.
because of the impact that it had at the time. I think if people watch it now or younger generations, it's not the same. But back in the day, I had seen other classic movies, but nothing like Scream, like
Yeah.
not such a slasher, like that.
And like
No.
really slick, like really
Yeah.
good characters and really slickly made. You
Yeah.
couldn't really
Yeah.
have that.
No. And so it was like, oh my God, I love this, like I want more of this. And I just rewatched the whole franchise at the beginning of this year because a new one was coming out. So I rewatched everything, and even the bad ones. It's okay. I just rewatched everything.
Bad ones.
Nice.
So what's your order, Kasha? What's
I
your
have a
favourite
ranking
to
video.
worst?
Hold on. I noted it down.
What
So
I'll do, I'll put a link
at the
to that
bottom,
after.
at the bottom is Scream 3.
Oh, poor Scream 3.
Oh.
No one likes
Then
it.
Scream 4. Scream, I call it 5, 2022.
Yeah.
Then Scream 2 and Scream, that's my rating from bottom to up.
Oh,
Okay, interesting. How about you, Josh? What's your ranking?
I've got like a newfound love for Scream 3 because like Kasha, I rewatched them all, I think last year before the new one came out. And watching 1, 2, and 3 back to back, I think weirdly makes 3 better than I remember it being. And so yeah, I probably would still put it last though, but I don't hate it as much as I used to.
That's fair.
It's like, yeah, I think Scream 2 is last, then Scream 2022, then Scream 4 and Scream 2 are matched, I would say, and then the first Scream. Yeah. Purely because of what Kasha said about the impact the first film had. It's like it just sent shockwaves through horror for like a decade. So you kind of can't discount that.
Yeah. How about you, Emma? What's your ranking of the film?
I'm going to get smacked there, aren't I? Because I have only seen 1 and 2. I saw the trailer for number 3 and went, that's not for me. And I didn't watch on. So, yeah, I'm so sorry. And you'd think I would because I think the Nightmare on Elm Street series, which I binged when I was a teenager, but I binged that, went down to Blockbuster, got them all out and binged it in my mate's living room with her and my other friend. So you'd think that I might have done the same with the Scream franchise. Slasher, same thing. But I was a bit older then, and it came out. The first one came out when I was 17, I think. So it was a different age group and a different mindset, and I didn't, and you couldn't binge them all because they weren't all out yet anyway. So when I got to number 3, number 2 was more cheesy, like A Nightmare on Elm Street. Number 1 was, quite frightening. Then number 2 is a little bit more cheesy. I think that went along the same route, and I just thought maybe that's going to continue that way. And I looked at number 3 and went, I don't think so. So the fact that you guys have said it's the worst one, it stopped me from moving on. I might skip it and do the rest.
Number 4 is really good. Like number 4, they really picked it up, which is rare. Like when a franchise starts going down, it's really hard to pick it up again. And I think
I might have to go straight to number 4.
4 has the best motive and reveal, I think, since the first one. It's it's a still relevant motive now. It's like it's really good.
Yeah,
it's worth watching.
No, I agree. Like I'm a bit more controversial as well because my order is 3 last, 2, which is hard, 4,
Shelley.
the new one, and then the original. So the original first, but I
no.
I do.
Listen,
like
you
the
only
new
put
one.
Scream 2 on the bottom because Randy dies.
Yeah.
Let's disclose
that's
that.
Never forgive them. But I appreciated the new Scream a little bit more when I went to see it. So I rewatched all the films, went to see it, then I rewatched all the films again, then I rewatched the new one, and I actually appreciated it a little bit more. I think I took more in when I rewatched it, and it did go up one because I'm a big fan of Scream 4, so that was usually second, but it did just pip it to the post a little bit. I did
So
like
what you're saying is you love them all, but that's the ranking.
That's the ranking. Love them all. That's the ranking, but I'm not over Randy. Never. Nerissa's put, pretty sure 3 went through some nightmare production issues, including no script. That might.
Well, Scream
no script, kill it dead.
No script either.
No, they were, I think, writing it while they were shooting Scream 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 3, Kevin Williamson gave them like an outline, and then they said, let's not do that, and they got Aaron Kruger to write it instead. And I think his tone was a bit more Scooby-Doo the previous film. So it's like the Scooby-Doo Scream, basically.
It's like the characters were so exaggerated, I just couldn't anymore. It was like annoying me so much. Like it was not a good level. It was too much for me.
Yeah.
Quite camp.
The only thing that was I really enjoyed about Scream 3 was Parker Posey. She was just brilliant in it. I loved her. So one of the things that I always love about the Scream films are like the opening scenes or the opening kill. And this time it was set in like a theatre / cinema type of setting. So what did you think of this as an opening scene, and how do you think it compared to the rest in the franchise, Kasia?
So, I think it was really hard for them to find something to top the first film, because that opening scene, also you had like a famous actor dying, which was also something that was not normal at the time. So it was a really shock moment, and it was hard to do something different. So I think they did a good job, because what they did is they embraced what the franchise became at the end of the day, which is being meta. So they decided to just go all out on scene. And I loved it because it reminded me a little bit, I don't think it's done on purpose, but there's also the play coming later, but maybe on the older Giallo movies from Italy, because like on stage, and it's a little bit also basically portraying something horrific and people profiting from it and people clapping about it. It's based on a true crime. I mean, Scream is based on a true crime. So it was kind of like making this big entrance, this big scene into the franchise. I don't know. I really liked it. And I think they did a good job. I really like the opening. It's questionably the best one together with the first movies. It's a really, really strong opening.
Yeah. What did you think, Emma? Did you like the opening scene?
Yeah, I did. I would agree with that. I think it's a different tone though from the first one. The first one is so frightening and suspenseful. It's just absolutely terrifying. Whereas this one is just a completely different tone. And I like that they were all given the suits and the masks, because that's a brilliant way to hide the killer. You never see the killer in there because they're all like holding them up, or holding up this way, not the other way. And you don't know. I did think that Jada Pinkett Smith's death was a little bit over the top. I was like, for God's sake, girl, just die.
She wanted to make it memorable, I think she
said.
It
out. Come on. But yeah, I did think it was, I do agree. It's a great opening. It's a good way to open.
Yeah. And apparently, I don't know where or whereabouts he was sitting, but apparently Grady Hendrix and I think his wife are in that audience.
No way.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think he tweeted about it. Yeah.
I would have looked harder if I'd have remembered that.
Yeah, I'd love to know whereabouts he was. That would have to be questions if we ever have him on Point Horror Book Club again, definitely.
Yeah.
How about you, Josh? What did you think of the opening scene?
Oh, I love it. I love that it literally expands like the stage. It sort of continues the conversation. Billy at the end of the first film talks about like movies don't create psychos, they just make them more creative, and that's exactly what we get in the sequel. And I just think it was really clever. I loved the metaverse thing of having Stab become a film. And like I watched it with Wes Craven's commentary today, and I had never really noticed this, but he talks about there's 3 pivotal moments throughout the film that are set on stages, and it's sort of like one per act. So you've got the opening on a stage at the cinema, you've got the midpoint where Sydney's performing the Cassandra sequence on stage, and at the end the denouement is on the stage again. And it's just really clever. Like the ending wasn't supposed to be on a stage. It was originally written to be in the back of a fraternity in like a back garden. But Wes Craven said, no, it needs to be on a stage because that's the thematic through line through the film.
Oh,
so I
wow.
think, the opening just sets up the entire film perfectly, I think.
Yeah. Oh, well, I've never noticed that before either.
Yeah,
Now you've said it, it's like, oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah. I saw Narissa put the knife in the ear, was like, yikes. But yeah, the opening for me.
And doesn't she whisper? isn't she whispering like kill him, mummy, or something? Like she
Yeah,
says something like mummy. It's
weird.
like, oh, a little clue.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
none of us picked up on.
No. But the cinema, my local cinema where I used to live, the toilets in that cinema looked exactly like the toilets in Scream 2. So whenever I went to that cinema, I'd never go to the toilet on my own because I was
I would
too
rather
scared.
wet myself.
Oh, honestly, every time we went, I was like, no, I can't. I'm just going to have to like suffer throughout the whole film. I can't go to them toilets. I wish I'd got like a picture of them. Unfortunately, it's closed down now, but they look
Too many
exactly the
deaths.
same. Too many
Yeah.
deaths. So one scene in Kevin Williamson's screenplay was simply described as Wes Craven will make it scary. Which scene do you think this is, or do you have a favourite scary scene? Josh?
My favorite. Well, I mean, the reason I love this film is because it does do the sequel thing where it's bigger and bolder and scarier. Like this film is kind of like horror action set pieces. Like the sound booth is probably my number one favorite scene in the entire
That's
franchise.
mine. Yeah,
Because it's
that's
just
mine.
so effective. It's a great sequence. It's so original. I love the fact that when Gail Weathers is like banging on the window and screaming, you can't hear her. You know, she's completely silent. That music is just fantastic. That Marco Beltrami music is just like, oh, chilling. So yeah, that one is my absolute favorite.
I think that might be the scene that Wes Craven was scripted to make scary as well. That's what I think. Because like
I think
on
he
paper,
did it on the opening as well. I think when he goes into the toilets, I think he wrote in the script then Wes makes it scary. So Kevin hadn't written what they were going to do.
Interesting. Oh, okay. What's your favourite, Emma? What's your favourite scene or scary scene in Scream 2?
I liked when it went back to the original with Cece and being chased through the house. And obviously, you remember in the original they were saying that it's so dumb. They always go up the stairs when they're supposed to be going out the door. Yeah. And again, another girl runs up the stairs. She does go out the door, but then she runs up the stairs and is thrown off the roof. I really like that. I think that one. But yeah, to make more scary, I couldn't think of anything except for that cringy canteen scene, and I thought that was quite scary without being scary. I was absolutely like, does this happen in American schools? Because in the UK, they'd be throwing their chips and bits of burger at them. They wouldn't be just clapping him while he's singing. It would be, what are you doing, man?
I'd be like, yeah!
He'd be the only one, Shelley with her flag out, but, yeah, so I thought, I couldn't think I couldn't think at all, but it makes sense, the toilet and the sound room and you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. How about you, Kasha? Have you got a favourite scene or scary scene?
I was thinking about it because, you know, I always like any scenes where somebody gets killed, you know, that's what I like.
Sounds like me. Apart from Randy.
Yeah. Somebody died nice, I like that one. So I really like the car scenes because it's the first time that Ghostface drives at all. And they did something that defied the tropes of a horror movie, which is the killer was not inside of the car. Most horror movies, when you get, you know, a shot from inside the car, you expect the killer to be behind her, you know, in the car.
Yeah.
Not in the car. So that was really surprising the first time that you watch it because you're expecting the trope, you know. And I thought it was and I really liked it because then when the both girls run away and the friend says, you know, stupid people go back, smart people run away, and then she gets killed. I was like, that's fantastic. I just loved it so much.
Yeah, that's such a great scene and a really good observation on that as well. I love that scene.
So if Sydney had kept running, her mate wouldn't have died. So she did stop, and I think if she'd have kept running, she would have thought, oh God, no, if I'd have kept running, I wouldn't have killed that one. You know, I got that one killed.
It's like Narissa said,
gone back together.
The climbing out of the car terrified 13-year-old Narissa. But it is really such a tense scene, like just
Mm.
climbing over the killer. Oh, I don't.
Yeah, I like
I
that. I thought that was clever.
I would have just stayed in the car and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna just stay here.
Yeah.
No, or I'd get stuck probably actually, trying to get through
I
the
definitely
hole.
fall out.
Pull a muscle.
Yeah, Kev's definitely climbing out of the car. So yeah, that scene is definitely. Oh, it actually gives me a bit of goosebumps thinking about it. Um, so, as I mentioned earlier, according to the rumour, the identity of the Ghostface changed quite a lot from the original script because of the leaks. So, apparently, originally, one of the scripts said it was Derek and Hallie or Haley, the best friend. That
Huh?
was the original ending. And then the script leak thing was kind of referencing Scream 3, where the cast of the stab film are kept in the dark kind of thing. And then additionally, I think Mickey was meant to be killed by the two ghost faces in the original script. And there was something to do with Gail and Cotton Weary having some
Mm.
altercation, and maybe that Dewey didn't survive his injuries in the sound booth room. So, how do you think this? What do you think of these alternative endings? Do you think it would have worked, or do you think it just would have flopped? What do you think, Emma? Do you think it sounds good?
No, I think doing the boyfriend again would have been a bad idea. I think, yeah, I didn't see with Mickey. I didn't really remember him at all throughout the whole thing. I wasn't even thinking of him at all. He didn't even cross my radar because I didn't think he had a big enough role. I don't know. Maybe I was just ignoring the poor guy. But yeah, the mum made sense. Yeah, did make sense. I thought, and I think. But yeah, probably Mickey didn't really cross my mind. I don't know about, yeah, those alternative endings. I don't think they would have worked. It would have been completely different. I don't think people would have been. I think the mum was shocking enough. That was a big twist, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. How about you, Kasha? Do you think any of those alternative endings would have worked? Different killers?
I think they were trying to point again at the boyfriend really hard, which would have been so disappointing if it would have been the boyfriend. And there is a parallel with Scream 2022 with the boyfriends and the cut. And I just realized that in this.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anymore because I don't know if people have watched Scream 2022, but just saying that there was a parallel, and I was like, oh, that makes sense now. Like, now I see what you did there, in the new one. So I would have hated for the boyfriend to be again. And the friends, I don't know if they really would have had a motive. So I was quite happy with, what they went for. I think the mom is a good parallel to Friday the 13th, which I enjoyed to see that. But like Emma said, like Mickey is not really a main character that you see much. And sometimes it can be confusing. But if you watch the film a couple of times, there are hints that it's him, one of the killers. So it's done really sneaky. So I actually am pretty pleased with, their choices at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
When I rewatched it this time, I did notice a few more clues than I normally would have, and I thought, oh, isn't it weird how you don't spot it the first time round?
Is not trying to connect those dots yet, most of the time. So yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very, very. I know it's meant to be clever, but it is very clever.
Figure out the who is Ghostface in the new one. And my boyfriend was sitting next to me, and I told him before it happened so that I had somebody vouch for me.
Oh, I love that.
I always try to figure it out. That's the best part. It's kind of like, Scream is kind of like a whodunit in a way, as well.
Totally.
Yeah, it is. It's really good trying to guess. How about you, Josh? Did you would any of those alternative killers work for you?
No, I love that Laurie Metcalf gets to be crazy at the end. I think she's so good at it. I think the first time I watched it, I was like Emma. I hadn't really clocked Mickey. He wasn't interesting to me. But I think the scene where Gail yells at Debbie Salt, that kind of gave away slightly that she was the killer. It just, even though you didn't really know why she was, I think that the only thing I think I would change about the film is I think that Debbie should have found Dewey and be covered in blood, because that would have been maybe a better hide, because you by that point you're like, well, it's clearly not cotton.
Yeah.
So I think they could have flipped that around to make it a bit less obvious. I actually don't think I love this film so much, but I don't actually think it really works as a mystery. I think that it's very clever in the way it kind of like thinks about all the suspects, but I don't think there really are enough clues in the way that you had with Billy and Stu. I think that the first Scream is just like an Agatha Christie mystery. It's so well done.
Yeah.
And with this one, you can kind of tell that they weren't really sure the whole way through who it was going to be.
Yeah.
And so then when the mum pops up, it's like, oh, it's Billy's mum. And there was nothing thematically before that to hint about anything about motherhood. So it didn't quite work for me, but I still love it.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree with that, definitely. So Randy famously says, so it's our job to observe the rules of a sequel. Number one, the body count is always bigger. Number two, the death scenes are always much more elaborate. More blood, more gore, carnage, candy. Your core audience just expects it. And number three, if you want your sequel to become a franchise, never, ever. And then he gets interrupted. So what was he going to say? Josh,
Never
what do you
ever
think?
fuck with the original, to quote Sydney from Scream 4.
Yes.
I think it would be two things. I think it would be don't fuck with the original and don't fuck with the formula. Because I think if you're going to have a franchise, you've pretty much got to make the same film over and over again, but with like slight tweaks, which they did, which they've done effectively with Scream. So don't fuck with the formula.
Yeah. What do you think, Emma? What do you think he was going to say there? So if you want your
I think he
sequel
was going to say,
franchise...
never ever kill your final girl.
Or never ever don't pay her enough to then not be in the new one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Or forget, as I watched recently, the making of Aliens, which is one of my favourite, if not my favourite monster movie ever. And they had forgotten to ask Sigourney to be in the movie. I could not believe it. And then they had to obviously scramble to get her, and so then her price was wicked high.
I like it.
So that's right, Shelley.
How about you, Kasha? What do you think he was going to say?
So I have digged deep into the interwebs, and apparently there was a teaser trailer, the first one ever from the film, and it had an extended moment when he's seeing it. So the third one actually came out, and he said, never ever under any circumstances assume the killer is dead. So that's supposed to be on the first teaser, so I guess that's the original quote. I don't know why they decided to cut it in the end, but
yeah.
I like it. I do like it
that.
as a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never ever. No, what? Tell us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I like that. Like you did a bit of investigating there.
Yes.
Well done. So is Randy right? Do sequels suck? Kasha, what do you think?
I think, it is hard to make a good sequel just because when, a movie is a hit, you quickly rush into making more money and your head is not in the right space. You're just thinking, oh, we need a sequel. This worked. We need another one. We need the same thing because people want to see it. And it's not exactly how a sequel should work. So I think it depends. There are good sequels and there are not so good sequels. So it depends a bit. I've seen some sequels that I have enjoyed, but it's really hard to top a really good film that's like Scream. I think they did a really good job, to be honest. It's a really good sequel, which is rare.
Yeah.
So like Child's Play 2, because I really like the scene on the this company where they do the toys and stuff. I love it so much. I love that factory scene so much. I did like The Conjuring 2 more than the first one. Controversial opinion, but...
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've not seen those films, but I have heard people talking about them.
Yeah. And I love The Purge 2 the most. The Purge 2 Anarchy is my favorite one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's my favorite one from the franchise. And it's also a sequel. I mean, number 2 now, I think now by now, but... So there are some good ones out here, but it's not easy.
No, definitely. And Kev's just put most do Terminator switches up the plot enough. So
yes,
Terminator
T2 is
2
brilliant.
is brilliant. So what do you think, Josh? Do you think sequels suck?
No, I love a sequel. I think some of my favorite films are sequels. Like Addams Family Values.
Yes.
Yes.
I love Bride of Chucky, I think is brilliant.
That's
What else
fun.
is there? Gremlins 2. I think you do have to kind of do something a bit different, and you have to allow the characters to evolve. I think the best ones are the ones where the characters do change, like Terminator to Terminator 2. She's like a whole different character because of the experiences of the first film. And you see that a lot in Scream 2 as well. You know, Gale has become sort of like a lot flashier, more successful, but like more savage, I think. But like so much more interesting as well, because she clearly does have a conscience somewhere. So yeah, I think that if they can find a way to evolve the characters in an interesting way, you can have a good sequel.
Yeah, no, definitely. How about you, Emma? What do you think? Do sequels suck?
Some of them do. Some of them really do suck. So, for instance, The Neverending Story is a standalone movie. It is not part of anything. There's no more.
Neverending Story 2.
Shelley, stop!
Part 2.
So I don't, you know, I have films which I decide, The Lost Boys is another one, that's on its own. I don't, you know, no. And so, yeah, there are films that I'm just like, no, they're standalone movies. But I think that, like Back to the Future 2 was brilliant for me. I loved Ghostbusters 2. Obviously, the second Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. And The Hunger Games, I think Catching Fire is better, you know. So for me, there's a lot of, even the book, I think the book is better, the second one. So there are a lot of great sequels out there. And obviously Aliens and T2, as was mentioned in the movie, in Scream. But yeah, there are some really good ones.
No, definitely. Kev's put Rocky 2 and 4 are good. Shells Have Eyes has put The Godfather Part 2. Yeah.
That's
and Indiana Jones consistently does it.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is like one of my favourite. That was the second one, I'm sure. Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's like one of my up there favourite films ever. Alongside like Neverending Story. Melina's put Adam Family Values. Larissa's put one. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2 is loads of fun.
It is.
Hang on, wait. There's a Lion King 2?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
There's a Lion King 2.
I think there's 3, to be honest.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
And a Little Mermaid too.
Tina Turner song in it.
No. I'm gonna have to check them out. Jaws the Revenge, Narissa said, is hands down the best sequel. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
On the Jaws chat, didn't we?
Yeah.
Halloween Age 20. I love that one.
Oh yes, yeah, of course, yeah. Hes 1980s put Mission Impossible sequels. Yeah, I do agree on that. I do like the sequels. And I have to say, I really like Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day 2. I think that was.
I haven't seen those.
Oh, I think you'd love them, Emma. They're really good because they played with the original in the second one with a really cool super twist, I thought. And
nice.
Yeah, I thought it was quite clever.
I like the first one better. The sequel was not a banger for me.
Yeah. I mean, the first one is better, but I just thought they went a different direction.
Yeah, I think there was too much sci-fi for me and less horror, and that was my problem.
Exactly.
So what we'll do now, we'll jump to the quiz, and then we'll see what time we've got at the end. So I've done like a little quiz. As usual, I apologise in advance if any of my facts are incorrect. We can blame Google, but I tried. And what I've done, I'll keep a little score. I've got everyone's name here, and I'll keep a little score. So basically, it's going to be an A, B, C answer. So just shout out A, B, or C with which one you think is correct. and we'll go from there. So, good luck. Josh
Yeah, good
always
luck
wins.
to me. Yeah,
I don't know
I'm
where
not so
this
good
come from.
about that, you know. E for effort, right?
Joshua winning is always winning.
Oh dear. Okay, so so the first few questions are just like general trivia. Okay, so after
So
filming,
not Scream 2.
no, Scream 2 related. So after filming, Jada Pinkett Smith sent director Wes Craven a present for Christmas. What was it? Was it A, a set of steak knives, B, a Scream mask, or C, a sorority necklace?
A.
What do you think?
Hey,
A.
Yeah, a set of steak knives.
So
Woo,
good.
woo, woo. You all got a
Well
point there.
Yeah.
Question 2. Which actor in Scream 2 had auditioned for the role of Tatum Riley in Scream and auditioned multiple times for the role of Cece Cooper, Hayley, and Maureen Evans before obtaining her eventual role? Was it Sarah Michelle Gellar, Jada Pinkett Smith, or Rebecca Gayheart?
I would say C, but I don't know.
C.
C is correct. Rebecca
Yeah.
Gayheart. Josh and Kasha get a point. And then eventually, obviously, she went on to do Urban Legend, and she was brilliant in Urban Legend.
Ding, 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 ding,
Ding,
ding.
ding.
Ringing
Do
the
that
bells
again,
yet,
Josh.
Natalie?
You're too good. Question 3. Yeah, joining in the comments as well. I'll try and check before I say what the answer is. So question 3. The Omega Beta, I can never say it. Omega Beta Zeta sorority house is the same house that was used in a famous children's film in '96. Which film is it? So is it A, Flubber, B, 101 Dalmatians, or C, Matilda?
C.
hey.
C.
What did you say, Kasha?
C.
C it is, Matilda.
Is that where Miss
I also heard it was Hocus Pocus as well, by the way, as a fun
was
fact.
it?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, it was Miss
girlfriend.
Trunchbull's house. It was Miss Trunchbull's house.
Oh, see, that threw me because Matilda's like, Roald Dahl, it's British.
Damn. Question 4. What actress in Scream 2 is rumoured to be based on Sarah Darling from Scream 3 and meant to be like an unflattering parody? Is it A, Sarah Michelle Gellar, B, I can never say her name, Portia de Rossi, and C, Courtney Cox?
B.
C.
Wow. A.
It is Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Josh, damn it, Josh.
I will say rumoured to be, because obviously Emma hasn't seen the Scream 3, but yeah, Jenny McCarthy plays Sarah Darling.
You've done your research, Emma.
Oh no.
Jenny McCarthy plays Sarah Darling in Scream 3, and I don't want to believe that is an unflattering parody of Sarah Michelle Gellar. I don't believe it. But apparently during filming, she displayed a little bit of diva-like behaviour towards Wes Craven. Whether that's true, I don't know. Don't sue me. I got it from
you
the
kind of
internet.
want that from SMG. It's fine.
Oh dear. Karen. Hi, Karen. She's on rubbish.
Oh no. E for effort, Karen. E for effort.
Me too, Karen.
Question 5. Which 90s actor was originally offered the role of Mickey? Was it A, Tobey Maguire, B, Leonardo DiCaprio, C, Christian Slater?
B.
I'm gonna say
B.
What did you say, Josh?
A.
What did you say, Kasha?
A.
It was A. Tobey Maguire. Can you imagine?
Emma's hiding his like back.
Don't chop your head off, Emma.
I am. I'm going to go and cut my hair off right now.
She's going to come and chop my head off.
I've already tried. Look at all the stab wounds on Shelley.
Oh dear. But yes, as Kev rightly says, Timmy is the best. Like, he was the best for that role in the end. Question 6. Which actress who had already turned down the role of Sydney in Scream was once again considered for the role of Cece Cooper? Was it A, Selma Blair, B, Reese Witherspoon, C, Alicia Silverstone?
B.
I'm gonna say B. I don't know, just to say something different.
Gosh.
A.
It's B! No. Reese Witherspoon! Well done, Emma!
I got one!
Oh dear. Yeah, so apparently it was Reese Witherspoon. Selma Blair, who was the other option, was actually the voice of the friend that Cece was talking to.
I read that.
I
yeah.
know it was a trick question.
You tricked Josh out. Wow.
Barrymore, you tricked me.
So the next section is like a bit more of a memory test from Scream 2.
Oh boy.
Oh God.
Okay, goodbye. I'm out of the chat.
Oh dear. So, what was the name of the theatre or cinema at the start of the film? Is it A, the Rubicon, B, the Rialto, or C, the Ronaldo?
A.
B.
B, the Rialto.
I couldn't even listen properly in the movie. I just live in my own little world, obviously.
Oh, but this is why we love you, Emma. This is why we love you. Which actress was the one more... Oh, let me just read my question 1 second. Oh, yeah, okay, right. Which actress was the actress that Maureen Evans, played by Jada Pinkett Smith, wanted to see instead of stab? Was it A, Sandra Bullock, B, Jennifer Aniston, or C, Sarah Jessica Parker?
B.
A.
A.
What did you say, Kasha?
I said B. Because she mentions Jennifer Aniston when she's talking to her boyfriend, I think.
It was A. She wanted to see a Sandra Bullock movie. Emma, you got it right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can I say hello, Ruth?
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, look.
Oh,
Look at
Isn't he
it.
cute?
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
let's say hello. And he knocked off my ring light. Yeah, that's why I was trying to catch him. He did it anyway.
Oh, I thought you got it wrong. I thought you was like,
He snuck up under the desk and then was like entangling himself in the ring
it's like
light.
a horror movie. That's what cats do in horror movies.
So I tried to grab him and then he just dropped it.
oh, it's so cute. It's so cute.
He's run off now.
Question number 9. Who prank calls Sydney in her dorm room at the start of the film? Is it A, Rory Phillips, B, Corey Gillis, or C, Georgie Willis?
B. Georgie Willis.
is too occupied
B.
at the moment at your seat, so...
I didn't catch any of your answers because I was laughing. I'm so sorry.
B.
B. Did you say B, Kasha?
Yes.
B, it is Corey Gillis.
That's Georgie.
I was sitting there thinking,
balloon, Georgie.
5.
yeah. I was sitting there thinking, what names could I use that like rhyme with Corey Gillis?
Georgie Willis.
555-0176.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
and Narissa knows the number as well. That's what I should have done. I should have said, what was the number? Oh, dear.
Josh would be the only one to get that.
Yeah, probably.
I don't do numbers.
Oh, really? Okay. I don't either.
So, question 10. Which page in Gail's book did Dewey read Deputy Dewey oozed with inexperience. Was it A, page 1, B, page 21, or C, page 41?
I'm gonna say C.
B.
B.
It was C.
No.
Well done. Oh dear. Right, last question, and we have got a tie-break at the moment between Josh and Kasha.
Oh, no.
Wow.
So yeah.
I was gonna give it to you because I'm scared.
And I gave away my bonus question earlier, so
Win.
we'll have to see what happens. Might be a tie. So in Scream 2, what did Randy say was his favourite scary movie? Was it A, Mallrats, B, Showgirls, C, Clueless?
C.
B.
What did you say, Josh? B. Yeah, B, Showgirls. So we actually have a tie. We have two winners. Woo woo! Josh and Kasha. Oh, and well done. Let's give Emma a clap for effort. Yay!
As a punishment. Three.
And that ends the worst quiz in history.
That was a great quiz.
That was brilliant, Shelley.
Yeah.
I was like, oh
Georgie
dear.
Willis.
Georgie Willis. The worst thing is when I'm putting these questions together, I actually laugh to myself. And like my husband comes in, he's like, what are you laughing at? I'm like, Georgie Willis. Oh dear. But then when you guys laugh, then I realise I'm not going mad.
It is funny.
It's totally funny.
Oh dear. So I'll ask one final question and then we'll wrap up. So what's your favourite scary movie? I didn't do that very well, did I? Josh, what's your favourite scary movie?
It changes all the time. I'm really fan of favourites. I think, oh God, I don't know, like Candyman. I love Candyman.
Oh, that's such a good one.
I'll go with Candyman. That'll do.
Candyman. Nice. How about you, Emma?
I have to say Aliens because, you know, the monster is so scary. It's the best monster ever. So Aliens is probably my best scary movie.
Yeah. How about you, Kasha? I can see your two models behind as well, and they look so cool.
Where my horror movies are all here, like my whole collection of horror movies are on this side of the room. The other side of the room is books. So
Nice.
My nerdy room.
Best room ever.
Horror room.
Yeah.
So what's your favourite scary movie?
I can't, you can never ask this question. It's just not possible. No, I would watch literally nearly anything. So it is true that I rewatch a lot, like Trick or Treat when Halloween comes around every year. I don't know. I just love all the classic slashers a lot. You know, just the classics. There are some new horror movies as well. Dracula from Coppola is one of my favorites because it was one of my first horror movies, and The Exorcist was one of my first horror movies. I watched them in VHS when I was like 9 or so. And so they hold a special place in my heart, those two. But I just love so many movies. It's really hard to say I only like this one or this is my favorite one because I just love too many horror movies, you know.
Yeah. And Kasha's always recommending me good horror movies to watch.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Amazing. I rewatch it all the time as well. That's one that I rewatch all the time. Because it also pokes fun of horror tropes, and I just adore it so much. You guys have watched the elevator scene? One of my favorite movies. Oh, that elevator scene. It's my life, you know. Yeah.
What's yours?
God, again, it is hard to pick, but Scream is definitely up there. The first Scream, and you just wanted me to say the word poltergeist.
Yeah.
I didn't say it right, did I? I can't say it. It's
Poltergeist. You said so.
That one. It's from years of saying it that way with me and my brother, and then it's just stuck. But definitely that film. That's one of my
Classic.
my favourites as well, because
that's brilliant.
I'm really into like the whole curse surrounding it as well, and all the conspiracy theories and stuff like that. It really really intrigues me. But it is a hard question, that, because there is so many. Has 1980s put Insidious? I've never seen Insidious because I'm
Really
Oh yeah.
really good.
I'm too scared to watch
Nah.
it. I don't know why.
There are some scary bits.
Yeah, it's jump scares that I just can't cope with. And Kev's put Blair Witch and Candyman at the time of first
Yeah,
watching.
Blair Witch.
I took my
That's
dad
very good.
to Blair Witch Project
Wow.
in the cinema, and I would never forget the end scene of that movie ever. It's like marked in my brain forever.
Yeah.
It's like the most horrible thing I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's horrible the first time you watch it. I make a lot of horror, and he's not as hardcore as me. Sometimes we're watching a movie and he's like, oh my god, and I'm laughing. But he watches horror for me, you know, because there's something to bond together, so it's really cute.
Oh, that's lovely. I love that.
My husband's
dad
the same.
did that with Scream 3. My dad took me to the cinema to see Scream 3 because I was only just, maybe I think I was 17, about to turn 18. And he came out of that going like, oh, I didn't expect it to be so scary. And I was like, I didn't expect it to be so stupid.
And he was like, what? What have you been watching, boy?
Oh, God. Cameron's put favourite scary movie. I just watched Free Willy 2 this morning and it was terrifying.
Oh, I love Free Willy 2.
Oh, dear.
So
And a question for Kasha. So where did you get your awesome T-shirt from?
Oh, I got it online. I don't know. I tend to get them from the US when I have money because they charge me like double for shipping. One of the stores sometimes is this T Public, and there's other ones. Like there's a couple of stores that have really awesome horror shirts. But
it's really cool.
Really horrible.
It's a cool T-shirt. It's really nice. We'll have to have a look, see if we can find some.
Yeah.
Oh dear. But what I'll do, I'll wrap it up now then. So just before 8 o'clock. And thank you all for joining in, and everyone who's joined in the comments. Do check out Kasha, our special guest, and her YouTube channel. What I'll do, I'll pop a little link up. But yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Lots of movie reviews and book reviews, and read-alongs you do sometimes as well, don't you? So yeah, check Kasha out, and do check out Josh and his brilliant book, The Shadow Glass. And Josh also, I always forget to mention, Josh does run a podcast alongside Rob called Torn Stubs. And I always forget to mention it. I always seem to mention the book.
Oh, I mean,
not
thank you very
the
much either way.
and do check out Emma. She's up to all sorts of exciting things.
Come find me on TikTok.
Oh yeah, she does such good TikToks, and just generally just brilliant, Emma. Like,
tell everyone what your TikTok is. Is it Emma Storyteller?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, do check out. She does some really good videos on there, and yeah, just awesome content all the time, and such a lovely, lovely person.
Oh, right back at you.
Oh, and thanks, guys. So we'll do another movie chat. Oh no, we've got a jam-packed October coming up. So during October, we've got mainly, I think, a chat. Horrortober, a chat every Sunday night, I think. So you'll all be fed up of us by then. But luckily, no quizzes that I know of just yet. We'll see.
Oh.
Pop quiz?
Oh, maybe. Could do an
quiz
80s
Halloween, movies based on Halloween night, you know, like really questions.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to get my thinking cap on. All right then, guys. Thank you. Thanks so much, Kasha. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.